What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and support as the good news just keeps rolling in for the Detroit Lions. And of course, we got to talk about it here at the News Desk as they've reported on their social media, on their website. We have a write-up on our website as well, DetroitSportsNation.com. Jameson Williams has returned to practice today. He's on track and looking to make his debut very, very soon. Officially make his way back to practice. This is a huge step forward in his development for the Lions offense as a whole, for the team as a whole. Again, this is probably the most anticipated name next to Aiden Hutchinson with what you had in terms of expectations of what you wanted to see this season. Because he's a big name. You traded up to get him in the first round, and for what this team needs and what he would provide, he seems like a very, very sure long-term fit for what this team needs. Considering this team needs a deep threat to stretch the field and be able to go get long balls like a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle do in Miami, that's kind of the way he plays. And if he's able to bring that to this team, that is huge. But I want the Lions fans to get this point clear, though. I don't think we need to rush that. I think for the rest of this season, I think we still need to have some reserved expectation in terms of this team and the way Jameson Williams is going to be used. Because I don't think just because now that he's making his way to the lineup, and I don't think that'll be this week against the Buffalo Bills. I don't think he's going to play personally. Again, I'm not a doctor. I haven't heard any of the reports. But based on his development, I think they're still going to take their time, and I don't think they rush him back on a short week of Thanksgiving against one of the best teams in football. I don't think they're going to do that. I think he'll probably see the field against the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. I think that's what we can look forward to. Now, I think it's important to understand where this team is at and what the success of this team has been as we see them on a 3-game win streak, playing as good as they've played all season. I think what's important to remember is how these wins are coming about and what's happening with this team. If you bring a Jameson Williams in and try to do too much with him, I think that's going to become a detriment to this team as an overall. Because what we've seen is this team be able to rely on not relying heavily on Jared Goff. We got a little spoiled early in the season by some of those high-powered games where he was playing his behind off and throwing all over the field with 200-300 games, 203-yard games. The Lions right now do not need to rely on that. This offensive line has produced the 10th best rushing attack in terms of rush per yards per game in terms of what the Lions have given you. This offensive line with Ben Johnson and Hank Fraley doing a tremendous job in the coaching staff in creative packages and setting up holes for Jamal Williams, for DeAndre Swift, and even when they go deep in their running back core, you can rely on a Justin Jackson to give you a reliable, 8 to 10 carries a game, or even Craig Reynolds, who's played fantastic in his role. Because we see that it's still an issue in terms of keeping DeAndre Swift healthy. But to me, I don't think it should be a question at this point. The Detroit Lions are at their best when they're running the football effectively. That's when they're at their best. It's not when you're trying to make Jared Goff look cute on those naked bootlegs. He's scrambling around outside. So I can't even put the words together because it's that jarring to my mind watching him do that. We don't want to see that anymore. That's not when this team is at their best. They're at their best when they're playing methodically, when they're making opportune plays with the defense that's setting up for short field, where you can be creative in terms of run packages, where you can ice the clock with the Jamal Williams, who's been very good at gashing for big yard gains. That's been the identity of this team. You want to be able to rely on that. Jamal Williams is number 1 in the NFL with 12 rushing touchdowns. You have one of the best offensive lines in football, and your offensive coordinators and coaching staff are doing a great job of putting the right packages together to exploit that, even against good rushing defenses. You've been fantastic in that regard, and I don't want to see the Lions try to force a point where they have to look good and look flashy and put their new toy on display to make him look like the hero and make them look like they were smart for going to get him. We can validate that another time. You need to stick with what's working for this team. I don't want to see the Lions get out of character, and I don't want to see them get out of pocket. Stick with what's been working for this team. Do not get cute. You're 8th in scoring right now. You're finding ways into success. You're finding Jamal Williams' comfort zone to really be the lead back of this team. When you thought it was going to be DeAndre Swift and he went down hurt, Jamal Williams carried the load with no problem. He was out there pulling. He's still doing a good job now on a consistent basis. Again, you're in a position now, too, where you're not leaning on him to carry the rock 20, 25 times. That's probably not his game. But those 15 to 18 he's been getting, he's been productive in it. And if you've had to use him in high-volume situations, he's answered the bell as well. But now that you have balance, and they're answering it all played well off the offensive line, and you're putting yourself in positions where now you can just make timely throws with Jared Goff, where he finds an Amon-Ra St. Brown over the middle, or even the rookie tight ends and the young tight ends they've been using. I'm totally fine with just leaning on that. You don't need to try to get cute and go crazy and try to stretch the field, because when that happens lately, it hasn't really been working. Would have been the best deep ball plays we've seen. It was Jared Goff underthrowing Khalif Raymond one time. Last week or last game against the Giants, the deep ball he threw was to DJ Shark in a double coverage, and he didn't even get the ball. DJ Shark hasn't been helpful or effective enough in the deep ball game, and that was supposed to be one of his biggest attributes. Someone told me I had to have the football mind on Twitter to understand that about his impact of the game, but we haven't seen that from DJ Shark. And honestly, you're not seeing the necessity of it right now, because you're able to get yards and points off running the football and taking intermediate throws where Jared Goff is comfortable and where your receivers and tight ends and even the running backs can run and get yards after the catch. You're not getting that much success with Jared Goff throwing deep, and you don't want to have to be in a position where you have to do that. He's not that kind of quarterback right now. That's not his game. You don't want to have to get to a point where he's predicated on being the primary, offensive target and necessity for this offense. He's important just off rip because he's the quarterback. But this is a running football team that has seen success by playing smart, methodical football. Dan Campbell's making the right calls. Ben Johnson's making great offensive adjustments to keep this offense thriving how it needs to. You want to be able to rely on that. And sticking to the run game is what's most important. Do not try to overutilize Jameson Williams. Let him use intermediate routes as well. He's very quick with his feet. He's not just a deep route runner. He can do things inside and out too. But don't put too much on this kid's plate. He's got 6 games left to play. When he comes back in, let's say he comes back against the Jaguars, that'll only be 6 games that he's going to play. How much are you going to have to be able to rely on him? To me, again, I talked about it the last time here on the news desk. I don't worry about the record. Keep putting good product on the field for right now. We're going to stick to that bar for the Detroit Lions for right now. Just keep playing good football, and then the score is going to take care of itself. Because to me, it's not the fact that the Lions lose when they do SOL things. It's how they lose. So as long as you just get rid of those mistakes, you see what they're capable of. And I want them to keep staying in line with what they're capable of. Keep playing the brand of offense and football that has been working for you. Stick to the script. Do not rush Jameson Williams back. Let him thrive and come along accordingly. Stick to what's been working. But talk to me. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section about Jameson Williams coming back, finally returning to practice, and making his way soon back to the field for game action in his rookie debut. What do you think about it? And what do you think about the Lions offense and how they should use him? Do you think they need to ramp it up? Get him involved early, make him, one of their big game breakers off the rip? Or do you want to see them take it along slow? Talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you like the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help us get closer as we inch up to 5,000 subscribers to hit that awesome milestone. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to make sure you get the instant alerts from the new content coming from DSN Writing. And of course, make sure you subscribe and tap into our social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Subscribe, search, and follow Detroit Sports Nation. And of course, follow me as well at I am Eric Vincent as we keep rolling along and enjoy this good news of this Detroit Lions football season. I'll be back to chop it up with you again soon, right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.